Hey, moving now to another issue that's affecting folks here in the coastal bend. We're talking about continuing concerns over our water situation.
Our ongoing drought affecting the quantity of water, but how is it affecting the quality of our water? Our Ryan Hopper is here now after talking with experts about how naturally occurring metals like arsenic can find their way into our supply, as we saw in Robstown just last week. So Ryan, what all did you find out today?
Mike, Leslie, 3 News requested arsenic levels from the Texas Commission of Environmental Quality for municipal water supplies from 8 coastal Bend counties last year. And here is a portion of those results. Obviously, we don't have anything on the screen right now. There was supposed to be a dotted line which set the federal standard on a graph on this screen for at 10 parts per billion of arsenic. And nearly 1 out of 6 water systems tested in local counties exceeded that, which sounds bad, but your real concern should be your private well. Here are experts to explain why.
You probably first found arsenic here in your high school chemistry class, but locally it can also be found here and most concerningly down here, which can make people sick after prolonged exposure to an untested well.
In those cases, long-term issues with poisoning, sometimes a darkening of the skin, warts come up with it, kind of these hard parts on your hands. These are things that you may see with arsenic poisoning.
Baggerman stressed that arsenic levels slightly above the federal standard, like we saw in Robstown, aren't that troubling because municipalities regularly test their water supply.
So it's unlikely that anyone is going to have long-term effects from arsenic poisoning because we didn't just start testing last week.
Our levels could continue to rise, however, because experts say arsenic and other metals get into groundwater when aquifers aren't regularly replenished by rain.
Think about it this way, because if precipitation, recharging, replenishing these aquifers is not going to be loaded with this kind of solutes, right? It will dilute those concentrations. But during drought periods, it doesn't.
Mergulo says it's not just a lack of rain, as overpumping can also raise contamination levels.
It's causing water to move faster without the dilution effect. It's mobilizing more, it's bringing more of that solute into the groundwater.
So what can you do to protect your well during this unprecedented drought?
The safest for those that are using it for drinking purposes, for their households, for cooking, having a reverse osmosis system is the safest thing to do.
All right, y'all, here is the much promised graph, and that is the dotted line that is the federal standard. Now, a portion of these results came from a water system in Robstown, whose district manager, Marcos Alanis, told me today is actively trying to get those levels down. And again, as you saw in the package, those high levels aren't that big of a concern in the grand scheme of things. He also told me that he struck a deal with CCW on Monday to help alleviate the situation at, quote, no cost to my taxpayers, end quote. Mike, Leslie, back to you.